Okay, so let's do another dogfight, try to get one that's a little bit more reasonable than the last one. In this case, we got 4 Spitfires facing 4 BF-109Es. Now, remember I said I only had one pair of BF-109Es? Yeah, sort of. I have these July 40 BF-109Es -4BE-7T-2 types. The difference between them and the -2 to -4, whatever, minor difference. The only difference between them is that this thing carries a potential for a level 1, for a 1-point level bombing. This one has no capacity to carry bombs. You could, very easily sub them in. These are absolutely equal fighters. All across the board. They all have a 6 performance on them, a 1 burst, a 2 horsepower. Everything that's important is exactly equal. Point wise, they're exactly equal, and it's sort of the most generic fight that you can actually manage. Let's see who goes first. Kind of doesn't matter, but I'm going to fully random. Like, you don't normally fully randomize. It's randomized one side or the other. So it would be allied or axis, odd even. But what I'm going to do is 1, 2, 3, 4. No, let's do the odd even, because that gives me some opportunity. Basically, the players holding the different hands can communicate between themselves who wants to go first on that side. So I kind of did it wrong. So it's going to be an allied one first, and we're going to have 4 of these. So I look at the 2 allied sets of cards. This guy has a big in my sights, a fair capacity for maneuver here. No, he's got 2 in my sights. He's got a fair capacity with maneuvers, a full throttle which can cancel. It's not a bad choice. We're all starting out at very high. Again, remember I said you want to start as high as you can. You get the height advantage. It's definitely to your edge. Here, I don't have a lot of maneuver capability. I have a 1 burst in my sights. So I'm going to choose this guy to go first. And then when it comes to be the axis turn, they pick their positioning depending on what happens. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to maneuver against the guy across from me. Why not? They're all the same. And I'm going to play a maneuver card. Oh, we're at the same level. I'm allowed to fire my wingman, I think. Let me see, because I know there's some situations where the first player is not allowed to use a wingman attack. And I seem to recall that, but I don't know if it's in all scenarios. And the sequence of play, there's an exception. The first unit skips this stuff. It's kind of a disadvantage to going first, but if you have a good attack hand, it's okay. So I'm going to go against his main fighter. I don't change altitude or anything, and I play a maneuver card. Does he have a counter to a maneuver? He does. I'm going to full throttle to counter that maneuver. I'm going to full throttle to counter that full throttle. He's out of choices. He's not positioned like this. A little bit more space. Oh, that's an ugly sound. Okay. I've maneuvered once. I have this half loop, which is really useful if I end up advantaged or something. I could have done that to begin with, actually. That would have been kind of cool. Didn't know you could do that just to jump in. I've got 5 bursts here. I can only fire 4. Right now I'm at 2, which means I could get an engine hit, which would destroy the enemy plane. I'm going to do it in my sights. I counter it with a vertical roll. You may not want to play such a powerful card, but I don't really have... Like if I had a 1-point fire, I would fire that, try to hit him, try to burn out his defensive cards. That's where the strategy comes. Do you take a hit? You know, what do you think the enemy has in their hand? The guy who chooses to go first may have a rich hand at that point in the game. In this case, the vertical roll, I have no counter to that. I've used up 2 of my bursts. I will maneuver him again. He has no counter, so now he's tailed. Now I have a 3 burst, but I've used 2 of my bursts already. I only have 2 left here. I can't generate more. I can't pick on his wingman or anything like that. I'm at very high altitude. I don't get any cards. Problem. Right? Okay. So now the Axis gets to choose who they want to go second. And that's an interesting choice. Do I want this guy to go second? He could dive, grab some cards, maybe counter some stuff. He has his wingman who could do stuff. Let's see what this guy can do, because he's loose. He might be able to just fix this problem. He has a half loop, which he could... No, he's not allowed to maneuver on this thing. So I can pick on this guy's wing, and I have a lot of good cards for that. If I engage this, that means that then I get to still dive and do all that stuff that I was going to do before anyway. So I'm going to take number 2 in the turn over here. And what do I have? I have in my sights lots of bursts. I have 5 bursts. Okay. So I'm going to hold these here, because the first thing I get to do is use my wingman. I'm going to draw my wingman. I'm going to shoot at his main character. Am I allowed to do that if we're not engaged? Or do I have to pick on a wing? Eligible targets. If your leader is engaged, he can only attack engaged. If your leader is neutral, you can attack any unengaged leader or any leader without a wingman. Yeah. Okay. So I am going to use my wingman against him. I get just 1 card because we're at very high altitude. I'm going against his lead fighter, which is this guy. I get a maneuver. My wingman tries to maneuver him. I probably don't want him doing that. But there's a lot of badness. I have a full throttle. I'll counter the maneuver with a full throttle. The wingman doesn't have a response to that, so that's been canceled out. Now I go to my main plane. I'm going to engage him. I'm going to half loop him. That'll put me on his tail. He does not have anything that prevents a half loop. So now I've accumulated 4 firepower. I have a couple of these. I'm going to fire this one first, and in my sights for 2 hits. 2 hits is a fair amount. I don't want to take that. Although I only have 1 counter, I could be killed by, you know, like an engine hit card. But I'm going to play a barrel roll. He's got no counter to a barrel roll, so that in my sights is gone. I've used up 2 of my shots. Now I do a follow-up 2 shots with this. Quite often you would not defend against that first shot. Just, you know. This is another in my sights. I don't have a counter for that. I'm going to take 3 hits on my main fighter. And I do get a 3-point hit here because this goes up to 6. I'm now damaged. I've used up all my shots. got all this. Did he draw a card? I don't remember. He should have gotten a card draw. I think he did, but if you fuck up, too bad. I draw another card, and I put that here. We'll pawn him over here. He'll be number 3. His wing gets to go. His wing gets a single card. I'm going to go against the main plane, try to get some maneuver capability. I don't have I have a scissors, which is useful if I can get down to advantaged. I do have a maneuver to take me further, but I want to try to gain position on both planes. Generally, you don't go after the wingman. Generally, you go after the lead. So I have in my sights against him. Does he want to deal with this? I do have a card that could deal with it. I'm not going to do so though. I'm going to just take that hit, and I'm going to eat it. And this is this guy. No altitude changes. Well, so I could dive and get more cards, but I like the cards I have. I'm willing to fight him with these. So quite often you would dive in this case, get another card. You've already expended some cards, but instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to maneuver, because I know he has a weaker hand at this point. What does he have that cancels a maneuver? He has tight turn. Can I cancel a tight turn? I have a scissors. I can use that to cancel a tight turn. He has no more reactions, so we've maneuvered ourselves like this. Now I scissors. He doesn't have a reaction, so we get that action. Now I have a shitty 1 point in my sights. This is not very good, and my plane has no horsepower, but I'm going to fire it. And he has no response to that, so he takes a second hit. But I don't get any cards because I'm up too high. It's hard to fly up here. You end up diving in the midst of fights almost invariably, but there's such an advantage to being up high that you kind of don't want to give up that height until you have to. So no draw for him, because he only has a horsepower of 1 because he's damaged. That puts me to card 4. We take a look at his hand because we want to understand what we have. We may want to dive because we're in bad shape. All we have is a maneuver and fistfuls of fire. I'm going to drop down to high, and I get a card for that. Also, I start getting I start being able to draw cards. This guy shouldn't have been able to draw a card. I don't know what he drew. I'm going to bury a card. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll just bury this one. I don't know what it is. But he drew a card when he shouldn't have been allowed to. Because you're at -2, and again, it's not here. It would really be useful to have, instead of the GMT logo or whatever, something that told me, I know they need to put that there, but there's plenty of room if they took that away. And there's other stuff that's a lot more iffy. Things like the disengagement table, you almost never need that. That could be here, but no, they had to put lots of example of play in there. The whole damn stuff that you need, the sequence of play, and some other key points could have been put probably on one of these cards, but again, they were probably tight on cards. And I really think the original had it on cards. I seem to remember a cheat card. What am I doing? I'm going to swap batteries because, wow, I can't afford to. I got both of those running. I don't have another battery charger, so. All right. So it's this guy's turn. He just dove. He shouldn't dive yet. First he does his wingman step. Okay. Do I want to change position on his plane? See, I've got a handful of shit. If I draw a good card for my wingman, I could swap this. He doesn't have a lot of cards. But what's my chance of that? It's low. So I may want to shoot. Nah, I'm going to go after his lead. We'll see what I get. If I get something that's awesome, that's great. So I draw one card. It's in my sights. I'm allowed to fire the whole thing. It's my wingman. I don't have any restrictions on that. That's a big 3 hits. We don't want to take that, but oh, terrible, we do. And now that's a damaged plane. But I didn't change the maneuver situation. With him all damaged and everything, well, I do go down to high. I draw that card. And what does he do? Does he follow or not? I have a half loop, which can be really, really useful, but I have no counters or anything. I would love to dive to get a card. I'm going to let him disengage. I'm tailing him, man. Oh, boy. 1 or 2, I follow him. No, I'm going to let him disengage. I think it's the wise move anyway. He's down at high. High. Which means he can't do shit. But I have a 6-card hand. I'm allowed to draw 1 more card. I'm not going to discard because I already have everything, and there we go. That brings us to turn 2. And battery is a problem at this point. Not a lot I can do, but I have my wingman face first. I can shoot at his wingman. In my sights, I get 2 hits on him. Okay, that means he gets to draw 1 card where at very high it's reduced by 1. He cancels it with an ace. Okay. Now it's his turn. I have shit for cards. I'm not getting any draw. I'm not getting any draw ever because I'm at 1 horsepower now. So even if I drop down to high, I'm going to be at a 0. But I do so. There's nobody engaged with me, so nobody gets a choice on me. I have a bunch of shit I can do with my own card. I'm going to half loop him. He does not have anything that counters that. So I improve position by 2. Okay. Well, now I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4 bursts on him. I have 2 really good shots. I'll do it in my sights for 3 hits. But he has a counter, and I can't do shit against it. I don't get a draw. Comes over here. His wing. His wing's allowed to go against that. Let's take a look at my hand. Oh, I got fistfuls of firepower. I still want to go against the lead because I might dissuade him from following me down, although I doubt that. I get a maneuver. We're now disengaged. I can't be followed down. I go down to high. I get a card. He's at the wrong altitude, but he's not. I can go after his wingman. I have a vertical roll. I could conceivably pop back up and take a shot at him. He has no fucking cards. We're going to vertical roll. That changes altitude by 1 level. I'm back up to very high. I have to discard a card to do that. I'm not engaged or anything. And now I plink him for 2 more hits, dropping him to a 5. He's in a lot of trouble here. Maybe his wingman can save him. But I'm not getting any cards because I'm too high now. That moves it over here. I got no cards. I'm not engaged. I've got my wingman. My wingman will go after... I'm allowed to go after his lead. I will do so because he has no cards to defend himself. It's an in my sights, one hit. Damages him. I see the red on the card and it makes me think it belongs in that deck. I'm not engaged. I'm pretty beat up. I want to drop to high. I get a card. Doesn't really matter. And now I'm on my phase. I could play this against his wingman. It's a tight turn. That's not going to fucking help me. So I get my draw of 0 cards because I have a 1 horsepower at high altitude. That brings it over here. I got a fistful of cards. I'm in healthy shape. But well, this guy's kind of shot up. My wingman has an offense of... okay, we don't know. We have to look in the rule book because, again, there's no player aid that tells us this. And we have to find the thing. Now, sure, you remember these. Wingman at high, subtract 1 from the defensive rating. So I get, let's close these up, a 2-card attack from my wingman. And I'm hoping to change position more than anything else. My 2-card attack includes a maneuver, which I will play. He doesn't have a counter to a maneuver, so we're like this. I'm firing, again, I'm firing at the main guy, no matter what. I've already chosen. I play an attack with 1 hit. He doesn't have a counter for that. He's hit. I grab my fistful of cards for my turn, and I would love a scissors here. I have a bunch of in my sights, but I do have a maneuver. I disengage us. I could drop. Do I want to drop to medium, or do I want to take advantage? I'm going to take advantage that he doesn't have many cards. So I play a maneuver. He hasn't been able to respond to shit, so I figure I can just shoot him up. Shoot it up. All right. What I'd like to do, I'm right now at a single burst. I have a single burst with 2 hits. I have this, but that takes 2 bursts. I'm not in that kind of position. All I need is 2 hits. I'm going to fire this. He hasn't been able to respond to anything. He still can't respond. He's gone. 1 Spitfire down. I'm not allowed to switch targets or anything. That's fine. But it ends up being the wing that's gone. He discards his hand and draws a new 5-card hand for the wingman. And you can see, like, it's easier to pick on the lead in general, but the advantage to picking on the wingman is that the lead might be out of cards. So shooting down a wingman is kind of cool. I'm not allowed to keep picking on this, as far as I know. Which means I get a 1-card draw at high. Puts us to 3. Nobody's engaged. Everybody's at high except him. He's at very high. I have a half loop that's powerful. He's been playing cards. Doesn't have a whole shitload. I have a lot of defenses. I don't have any firepower. Which sucks. What do I want to do? I don't have a wingman, so I don't get a wingman attack. All these defenses aren't going to help me. The maneuvers will help me, but I'm facing over here this. Can I pick? He's up on very high, yeah. Ugh. I don't know if this is wise. But I'm going down to medium, getting another card. It's some firepower, that's what we wanted. We have 3 responses, 4, 5, 6. We're allowed to hold all of this. We're down at medium. Puts it on him, he's on very high. He has no cards whatsoever, no draw. And even when I drop down to high, I'm not going to get shit. I had to check this. I am still able to be at very high. It's kind of fucked up because if your wings shot up, I think you have to drop as well. But it's not on here. Like there's no very high altitude. I have no impact on the fight at this height. I can't use my wingman, I'm too high. He's only got 1 card left. I'm going to drop down to high, grab a card. I get a scissors. I could get the advantage on him. I look over at my buddy, who's got a handful of cards. I'm not allowed to converse with him. I'm not allowed to make a decision. I will not be drawing a card, but I will have my wingman. Scissors doesn't do shit for me yet. There's basically nothing I can do here. Okay. I'll go here. He has a wingman. Sometimes your wingman is the only thing you have on the board. I'm going to use my wingman against this weak plane here. The wingman gets 2 cards, which is very, very powerful. I don't want to change altitude, do I? I do not. not. Oh, he can't even do this way. Okay, I'm going to play an out of the sun on his lead. That'll shoot his lead down. The planes are a little different. These suckers only take 5 hits, whereas the Spitfire takes 6. Shooting at the lead. I don't have a response. Another plane that bites it. He gets a fresh hand of 5 cards. We've completed ours. That puts it over to here on turn 3. He's at high altitude. Everybody's at high except him at medium. I look at my hand. If I can get a maneuver on this guy, I can probably shoot down his lead. I have a fistful of fucking damage. I don't have any maneuver cards. I will draw my wing against him. I get a maneuver. I'll play the maneuver against him. You have a counter to a maneuver? You do. I got no counter myself, but you know what I do have? I have it in my sights and he has nothing to stop it. He's down. 2 Spitfires down. 5 cards here though. I haven't played against anyone with this. I'm allowed to continue playing. I have a vertical roll. I could change altitude by a level. I have a 2 burst. I could actually just change the altitude anyway and get another card. That might allow me to pick on him. I'll drop to medium. I draw a card. I'm on the wrong guy. What the hell am I doing? What am I doing? I'm on this guy. Yeah, because I had a wingman fire. I've got a bunch of firepower. I got a cockpit hit, which is very powerful, but he's got a brand new hand of cards. I have no fucking maneuvers whatsoever. Do I want to go down to medium? 2 planes on 1. Right now I've got 3 planes on 1, but I got nothing I can do. Let's go down to medium and hope for the best. That gets me a card. Get a chop thrust, that's not going to help. I'm going to take my chances with it in my sights against him. He's got a lot of choices. Got a much better hand. Chop throttle is only good against chop throttle and full throttle. I'm going to play this as my defense. He has a chop throttle. Now I got a problem. I don't have another chop throttle, which means I take the hit. This was the best choice because these are more generally useful, I think. Okay. You could say the barrel roll isn't, but I don't know. They're more common, I think. I don't know, because this is a new card. I don't know what it's... I could look here and take a look at the action card manifest. Chop throttle, there are 4 of. Barrel rolls, there's 10. So I was a lot more likely to get away with this as my thing. I've got to do something about my battery there, but let me deal with what I've got here. So I take a cockpit hit. I take a hit and performance rating -1 or wingman offense or out of formation. Okay, so I get a cockpit hit somewhere, and now my performance is down to 5. Without maneuver, that wouldn't happen with normal cards. Without any maneuver, I'm able to draw 2 cards at medium as my end of turn. That'll put me to the 4th turn. We're going to pause here because I got to deal with the battery. But you can see this is a much, much more exciting fight. I think I got the shuffling down better. But I got to tell you, I mean, mainly I got the shuffling down better. It's also more even in terms of planes. Those stupid Russian planes not being able to go up to very high, and you know, with the pathology of the decks being stacked was really stupid, right? We still got a fight out of it, and killed a plane. But this is a lot more interesting. I don't know if you can see how much strategy there is in it. I'm not really going into the strategy all that much. Some of it, it just feels like I do it by the seat of my pants. I'm not sitting there agonizing over my choices, right? For the most part. But, you know, like the chop throttle, that has to do with the distribution of the cards. You're not allowed to search the deck, so you can't really get a good card count that way. But you are allowed to kind of remember important things. So if you saw a chop throttle played, what you can't see is what the other person discards. So you don't know what they've thrown away if they ever do so. Except when they discard for altitude, because it'll be on the top of the deck. But if they discard a fistful of cards, you don't see it. Now they're never going to discard a fistful at once. Usually it's like 2 cards at once. Alright. At this level, the game just plays fast and furious. And it's like really easy to pick up. The dogfight game. The campaign game is more complicated by far. Alright, so we're here on him. He has no wingman. Let's look at his cards. Everybody's at medium. No, just this guy's at medium. I probably don't want to climb and throw a card, but maybe if I have shit, I'll go pick on this a little bit more. Because I'm 1 on 2 here with a performance disadvantage. I've got some defense. I'll play a half loop. He doesn't have anything that'll counter a half loop. So we got him. Now what? Well, no reason to maneuver anymore. I've got some responses to defensive cards. I'll plink him with my in my sights. It's not great. But I think I eat it. It's only 1 point. At this point in the game. And again, you know, which way do you choose? I don't know. But a 1 point plink. Now, I am at medium. I get to draw 2 cards. I only have 3, so I actually get both those cards. Which is kind of cool. Come over here. He's at high. He's got a potential opponent at his same height. He's got no wingman. I could fly down and fuck with this though. And that is appealing because I don't know what these cards are. I'm not allowed to. So this is the thing. If you were playing like one person handling multiple hands, it doesn't really play right because you might know too much of the cards. It really should be one player per element, as they're called. We have a 2 burst here. I really don't have shit though in terms of cards. Well, that's all the reason to go down to medium. To get another card. Nobody can follow me because nobody's engaged with me. I've got a scissors. A scissors doesn't work here. It has to be advantaged. If I had a maneuver, I could play a maneuver, then a scissors on him. But there's not a lot I can do. I don't have this. I have 6 cards. It's kind of useful to have a pair like this because you play a tight turn, the most likely response to that is another tight turn. And then you've got one to back you up. So that's kind of cool. This is kind of cool in that I'd be able to cancel out if they have a barrel roll. I want to keep my firepower. Vertical roll is a response to an in my sights, but I have multiple responses to that. I think I'm going to throw this card. Scissors is too good to throw. And now comes the choice between the tight turn and the barrel roll. I think I'm going to hold the 2 tight turns. I want to throw 2 cards because I'm going to draw 2 cards. I'm not going to look at them because it doesn't really matter at this point. I don't have anything I can do. Come over to him. He's a little high. I don't have any maneuver capability whatsoever, but I'm not in anything terrible here. So we drop to medium and grab another card. It's a fucking barrel roll. Not too useful. As the main fighter, I can't pick on the main fighter. It would be the wingman I could shoot up. The wingman, I'll get a 2-card hand. Both players have a big hand. I don't know if I want to just plink them. I have a fair amount of response cards. I'm going to just plink this guy with an in my sights 2 hits. I wish I could hit that, but I can't. He has a lot of different options. I will play the tight turn in response. We come back here. He's got a tight turn to respond. We've got a tight turn to respond to that. Does he have anything else that affects tight turn? It does not. His shot was a failure. I'm kind of done with my attack. I've used up all my bursts. None of this is going to help me. I get 2-card draw. Come over here. We got the one guy with a wingman left. Shot down a decent amount of planes already. 3 planes have gone down. That's pretty cool. I look at my cards because that's of some interest. Because my wingman could go off and plink at this, right? If that was advantageous. But I think I really want to get an advantage on this. My wingman gets his full 2-card hand. Try to fix things. I got nothing. A bunch of responses. Not what you want from your wingman. Now it's my own hand. I have no maneuver capability whatsoever. I could... Oh, I'm allowed to just blink him. I gotta look that up. Am I allowed to just take a shot at him? Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Am I allowed to just take a blink at him? Because I have, and in my sights 1. I'd be getting 2 cards back anyway. I've got so many advantages on this guy, but he's tailing me. I could dive. That would give me a card. Which is also an advantage. And that could just gain me the ground. This is where the vertical roll is kind of interesting. You dive, the other guy doesn't follow, you vertical roll your back up, and then you can play what you got. So that if I had a vertical roll still in my hand, I would definitely do that. I think I'm going to dive to low and get a card. Now, I get that card, I don't look at it. This guy is tailing me. He is allowed to follow. He has a shitload of maneuvers. Could get something good for next turn. I also am going down to low. And still tailing. I don't have shit now. I certainly can't shoot him because he's at the wrong altitude now, so I don't have to look up that roll. I should look at it. Can pilots firing? I think I'm only allowed to do anything at the person I'm engaged with. A leader may only be engaged with one enemy. When a leader is disadvantaged, it's not allowed to play bursts unless it has a gunner. Leader is in any position but neutral, you're engaged. While engaged, you cannot attack any aircraft except the enemy leader with which you're engaged. I thought you could plink the wingman. You wouldn't want to generally, but I thought you could. I don't think I've cheated in that way. Alright, I'm down here. I've got shit. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What do I want to get rid of? I want to get rid of some shitty in my sights cards. This one's pretty good. I'm going to get rid of 2 in my sights cards. I'm going to keep the barrel rolls because I'm disadvantaged. And I get a 2-card replenish. How are we doing on battery? Ooh, looks like we can swap. Hey, I thought the charger was lying about this one and it wouldn't be full. Okay, so we go to turn 5 here. I've got an advantage. I've got no wingman. But I'm in as good a position as I can be. Keeping maneuver cards is useful. I may want to discard them. I don't have much firepower, unfortunately. Alright, well, I'll drop it in my sights on him. I have double barrel roll, and I have chop throttle. Both are interesting. I don't know which one I want to use. I'm going to roll a die for this. Let me give you the arguments in terms of what I might do. The double barrel roll, if I fire and he barrel rolls, I can cancel it. I can cancel his cancel. Chop throttle, though, is rarer. So which one would I more rather shoot? I think I'd rather do the barrel roll, so I'm going to go 1 through 4 on these. Yeah, I'm going to barrel roll him. He's got a barrel roll in response. I've got a barrel roll in response. The shot doesn't go off. Was it worth it? I don't know. Because now I have less of a hand, right? But I've cleared out his likely barrel rolls. So he's got a performance down 1. He's got 4 cards. He can take 2, but do I want to? Because I'm only allowed to go to a 5 total. I'll take those 2 cards. Your performance doesn't improve as you get to lower altitudes. It's just when you're at high altitudes you have issues. We're over here. I got nothing. I'm at medium. I could drop and pick on this guy. Conceivably. I have a maneuver and an in my sights that does hits. I'm going to drop to low. Eagle. Drop to low. Gets me a card. Doesn't actually help me. I'm going to scissors to affect him. Oh, no. That was tailing. Fuck. I'm going to... Does full throttle work on an opponent? Whoa. See, that seems kind of weird that I'd full throttle and affect this fight. But then again, any maneuver I do feels kind of weird over here. So let's take a look at attacking another leader. Attacking a lone leader. Your unengaged leader or wingman can play maneuver, half loop, full throttle, or scissors cards until the enemy leader is no longer advantaged over or tailing the friendly leader. Then I can attack him once he's no longer advantaged or tailing, and I might end up in the edge. Oh. I gain the position on him. Okay. The wingman does weird shit when he's attacking the leader, and that's what we saw before. So we've got this. I want to maneuver him. He has no hand. What's up with that? Okay. So we're being maneuvered. I have 1 card that can handle a maneuver. That's a tight turn. I don't think I have a scissors. I would like to use my scissors for something else, but I'm going to cancel this out. I don't have a scissors here, so what happens is this goes like this. Now I would have liked to have used my scissors as the follow-up for this, but I can't do that. I'm going to full throttle him. Well, that was interesting. I closed the camera, turned it off with my gesture as I was reaching for my throat. I'm going to full throttle him. That's going to change position by 1 towards neutral or disadvantaged. If disadvantaged or tailed, I'm allowed to do that on him. Does he have a full throttle response? He does not. So these are now neutral. I have another full throttle, but I can't use that. I have it in my sights at 2. I can't use that. I only have 1 burst on this plane. It's possible. There are some planes that have 2 bursts. There are some planes that have better capabilities, like the heavy guns and whatever. But I think I'm done, and I will get 2 cards for that. And that puts it over here for 3. We're the only plane at medium. Probably not what we want. My wingman would be neutralized by being the only one up there. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can dive. I still get an extra card, even though I'm at my performance limit. That's something important to remember. Now, I can pick on anybody. I have a full throttle, which doesn't fucking help me. I have an out of the sun 1, which could do 2 hits. I'm going to just plink this thing, because I don't have anything that helps me. And what does this say? It says no bombs. Yay. I think I can't do it if loaded. I think that's my only option. Let's see what we got here. I've got a chop throttle that'll stop that. I've got a chop throttle that'll stop that stopping it. It's going to be 2 hits on this thing. Didn't gain any position or anything on him, but you do what you do. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there something I want to throw away? These 2 tight turns are cool. Might not need the barrel roll. I think I'm going to throw the full throttle away and draw 2 cards. Puts it down to him. I got a wingman! Do I pick on the damaged guy, or do I go after him? I'm the better plane going after the better plane here. I'm going to draw 2 cards on him. That's an engine hit that'll just destroy it if he doesn't have something to block it. I have lots of defenses. Okay. Tight turn, barrel roll, they're approximately equal. I know that he's got a tight turn in his hand. This is hidden. I'm going to roll odd even as to which one I use. Okay, I use a tight turn to kill that. He tight turns me, I tight turn him. With that ace, I don't want to use that. That cancels anything out. Okay, so that failed. We're over here. He can pick on this though. What do I have? Not much. I will shoot him for 1. That's an in my sights. With all this defense, but this guy's coming next. Might he pick on me? I mean, my hands would be depleted in that case. I think I'm just going to take that hit, but I'm going to roll a die for it. 1 or a 2, I don't take the hit. I play something against it. Yeah, I'm just going to take that hit. It's worth it. especially at this point in the game, I'm unlikely to be shot down. That's this guy. He has just 1 horsepower, so all he gets back is 1 card, because he's pretty shot up. Last turn of the game, everybody's at low. That is often the case in this game. Everybody starts as high as they can and they end up down at low. Let's take a look at what we got. We got a bunch of maneuver capability. Not much else. We're losing the battle right now. Discretion is the better part of valor. We might say, hey, we want to disengage because we're outnumbered, etc. It's an interesting choice, but you have to follow this disengagement table, which didn't used to be in the game as far as I recall, which would cause a card to be drawn, which would then take certain factors. So right now I'm neutral. That would be no adjustment. None of these affect. So other than ground combat, strike aircraft only. I don't think we get to play this, where we get the target bound. Yeah, we wouldn't get that. So we'd be drawing a card. There's a chance we're just damaged or destroyed by it. I think we can survive. Question is whether or not we want to pick on somebody. He's pretty close to dead. We have no firepower is the problem. I'm going to go up to medium. Discard a maneuver. Medium, I still can draw 2 cards. And it's my performance that's reduced, so no big deal. I go up to the 5 cards. Come over here. Well, we can pick on this poor bastard. What do we got here? We have nothing we can do. We can plink. That's it. I'll plink him with an in my sights. Don't want to waste the ace on this. So barrel roll. No counter to a barrel roll. He gets 2 cards. I only had 1 burst. All I can do. Come over here. I got all kinds of goodies. Nothing I can do about it. I could go to very low. Well, there's no real point to that. I got a handful of fair defense. I'll just draw 2 cards and say that I'm likely going to survive the battle. Because, yeah, I mean, the in my sights is way up there. So we go to the last plane in the game, and I am running low on battery. Wingman's first. I got somebody at my height. I'll plink him. I get 2 cards against him. Let's see what I got. Hide these for now. I got a maneuver. I'm going to maneuver him. Can I cancel a maneuver? I cannot. That's going to give me an advantage on this. Do I want to ace pilot this? It's a pretty minor fucking thing to ace pilot. But he will have maneuvered this into range so that this is now a 2 burst. 1 or a 2, I ace pilot him. No. So he's got me like this. Now I'm going to in my sights him with 2 hits. That would be enough to damage. I'm definitely going to barrel roll it, because this gets rid of out of the suns. He's got no counter. It's a wingman. He doesn't have anything in his hand, so that goes away. Now we go to the main hand. The main hand has an advantage on him. Scissors isn't going to help me, but I have an in my sights with a fuel tank hit. Well, this is a good time for the ace pilot to come out, but I don't need it. I'll do a vertical roll. He doesn't have a counter to a vertical roll. He doesn't kill me. Why you always want to hold defensive cards. It can go south real fast. That's the end. I would still draw a card for my damaged plane, but there's no need. Everybody disengages. Everybody's fine. Well, not everybody. And what did we say? It's like 5 points and 2 points. So this is 7 points for the Brits versus 10 points for the Germans. The Germans win again. But a much, much closer and more interesting fight. I'm not going to do any more dogfights, except maybe I'll show parts of them in the scope of a campaign. I do hope to play at least one campaign to give you guys a view of that, but I'm not through the campaign rules yet. It's delaying me getting to OCS actually. So, but I'm having so much fun with the Central Front series that I don't want to call it early. So I think I've got time to, read through the campaign rules, play that, and then start setting up. I haven't started sorting the counters or anything. I figure I'll do that after I read the rules for the OCS. It's not like I haven't played OCS before, but it has been a long fucking time. It's been, 6-7 years? So I don't remember very much. But I'm going to be doing the most interesting of them for me, which is DAC. So maybe we'll do something North Africa for this. Or maybe not. We shall see. Alright, up it goes.